Today's video is going to be about the pavilions. There is a big gate, and around the big gates, framing it, there's two little pavilions from the 19th century, apparently, that have been built usually for the keeper, the Gardien of the house that used to live here, probably. His name was Monsieur Villa, and all his family still live here and are very attached to the house. The house was literally not livable. That is the one that is on the north part of the gate. That little house had only one floor and was completely restored. Actually, is not so big space, it's 40 square meters, but actually we organized 2 bedrooms and a bathroom on the top floor, a main living room on the main floor, and under it was a kind of a basement place where we organized like a big room and a bathroom with access to a little garden that's going to be reorganized very soon in September, hopefully. The other pavilion, that is literally the twin pavilion, is not going to be 100% twin, it's going to be fake twin, because apparently it's the same, but inside it's going to be completely different. And that pavilion is going to be the entrance and the welcoming area for the people arriving here for visits, and is also going to be a winter garden. I love decoration, and I spend so much time reading words of interiors and house and gardens and decoration. British decoration usually are very like cozy and nice. And it's going to be a little bit in this type. Then the main floor is going to be a winter garden with a lot of plants, some treillage on the walls, a fireplace too. Under is going to be storage, and on top we organized a little round ceiling that wasn't here. We restored that, and is actually now ready. We're going to show you. It's not completely organized inside as we don't have all the furniture and all, but I will show you a little bit inside. So this is a winter garden. I'm very proud of it because I did the design and the drawings, all of the treillage, and this is not super easy. I went through books and to understand how it was done before. I also visited a couple of parks in Paris where you have gardens with some treillage. I also went to Chateau de Champs-sur-Marne, close to Paris. That's a beautiful castle you must visit when you come to France. And there is a very nice cute castle, it's not a huge one, and in the garden there is a lot of treillage also made by the family called Cain d'Anvers, who actually most of the family died in Auschwitz during the Second World War because they were Jewish from Belgium originally, and they had an impeccable taste, and they restored the whole house with 18th century style. And in the garden there's many little places with treillage. Then I went there, I take measurements, and I saw with my carpenter to actually recreate an ambience that is kind of original and authentic. So it's not completely 18th century style, it's a bit more modern, of course. But with time a little bit it's going to get some patina. But we have some treillage like this. It's made of wood. It's different piece of wood assembled like this with little rounds, little straight things with lozenge, with a square, and we organize it all like this. For the color it was not so easy to find a good color. Why? Because in the gardens you have always more light outside. Then of course the colors I found were too dark for inside. Then the samples I got were too dark. Then I had to find a place where I can find some treillage with a color inside. Then I found a little place in Paris called Maison Souquet, designed by Jacques Garcia, a very cute hotel actually if you have the occasion to go. And there they had this color that is actually pretty nice. I tried to take pictures, and I had this little gun you can use to actually find the color you have. Then I was like a thief going inside of the restaurant and trying to identify the color of the paneling. And I got one reference that was 6011 from the RAL, which is like the international listing of the colors. It's called green Cereda, and is actually a very famous color because it's the color that all the orange back, you know, like the big boxes where we put the orange trees in Versailles are painted in this color. And that was actually the color I found, and that is a traditional color. Then this is the color I used here. And I like it because it's not too bright. is just a nice color, a bit lit, a bit with a little bit of gray inside, and I like the effect it does. This fountain, I didn't buy it, it was actually in the entrance all of the big castle, in the big house, but I didn't really like the effect it had over there, and I found it more accurate to have it here. Then we transfer it here, and it actually works. Let me see. It does. Up, then I like the sound of it. And this is going to be a space with a little fireplace over there, as you see. The fireplace, I wanted to put some tiles in it. I really like this style. I don't know, it gives some finish to the, it's a little bit on the Portuguese way or a little bit on the British way. And I like the little touch it brings. Then these little tiles, I could have put Delft tiles, but it was not that easy to find nice Delft for this kind of dimensions. Then I put this very traditional one with little œillet, which is little flowers. And this is going to be a greenhouse, kind of a greenhouse, a winter garden, where plants are going to grow. I put all the automatic system, watering system, ready to have the plants arriving. And there is a big bench over there where we can, it's going to be big cushions where we can just lie down and read books, because here is going to be a library with only books about plants, gardens and plants. Then you can be here and study a little bit how the gardens were before and now. And I have many books that I'm hunting to actually discover a little bit what is done around the world with a different style of gardening. And here there is a very interesting salon de grotte. We call it mobilier de grotte. It's very cute pieces from the end of the 18th centuries, beginning of the 19th centuries. It's a mobilier that is pretty traditional. Is all made of wood, carved, and is always representing animals from the sea. Then I don't know if you can see that, but it's pretty interesting. You have here like the mother of the pearl, you have here like the little hippocampe, and here the little dolphins and the shells, and that's a very interesting one. And here, if you see, you have also the little mussels and also the coquille Saint-Jacques. And I think it's a very interesting one. And I find it pretty nice here in this environment. Also, there is this little ceiling that has been done in a curve shape, because I didn't want it to be all flat, because we had this strong structure that we couldn't remove. And the coupole, we call it in French, was made in the middle to give a little bit more space in the middle. There is also, because I want to organize during the winters, and I have a conception of living in a castle that is pretty not traditional. I want comfort. I don't want to go in a house and have like 1,000 of fur and coats on top of me. I want to be comfortable. Then even here is going to be probably a space for, I don't know, if I want to organize like a dinner at night with a big dinner in a winter garden, can be very, very cute and nice during the winter. Then I had all a heating system, and this is very convenient because you have actually right here a grill that can let the air go through, and up you can actually open that, you're supposed to, and you can organize the heating system, and then the space can be very warm when you need it. Also for the plants, of course, because during the winter they don't want to suffer and you want them green, then you need always to have a little bit of heating system. For the lighting of this room, I didn't go for antiques, actually. I went for re-editions because there was like two pieces that I liked from Mathieu Lustrerie. Is a person in Paris, an artist, we can say, that is collecting a lot of appliques and chandelier. And I liked two of his production was actually this little applique over there. We call it lampe argan, because usually before it was done, it was lamp with oil, with argan oil. And this is a little lamps we can see. And this one that I really like And they have these very specific bulbs that I love, because I don't know if we can see, but it gives the light is a very like small and little, and it really gives the impression this is just a real candles, and this is 10 times the strength of a flame of a candle. And I like the color because it's not too white, and it gives a very like cozy ambience, and I really like that. And I'm using it everywhere. It's not very like, if you want to read and all, you need sometimes to adapt, but it gives an ambient that is very cozy. And honestly, in that kind of house, you don't want like a hospital light. The floor was restored. I wanted to complete actually the tiles, and we find this 18th century tiles. It's terre cuite, terracotta. I like the color of it because it looks like antique, but actually it is antique. And actually, yeah, there is a very cute story. Is actually when they were like restoring it, the moment that probably the mud was still fresh, 3 or 4 centuries ago, probably a little dog went around, or a little cat. I don't know. I don't know how to make the difference, to be honest. But probably a little dog, and he was like walking around, and tack, he walked on one of the fresh tiles, and look here, there is like one baby step, and it could be another one actually just here too. Actually, we see actually here there is two little steps here, and this I find it so cute. So for this part, on top of the under the windows, we didn't know what kind of tiles we wanted to put. And I like the smaller one, and my entrepreneur actually said like, why don't we cut it? And I was a bit like, okay, but cutting an 18th century style maybe is not a good idea. But we have some broken one, and he used them, he cut them in 4, I mean in 2 parts like this. And we had like the little version of the big ones, and we like the effect because it looks pretty antique and nice, and that was done with exactly the same tiles. Then this is an idea of how to give 2 different ambience and effects with one same material. The bench has a story. The foot part of the bench was the base of a little fountain I have in Paris, and I use it to do a bench because it was more accurate, and I needed like a top part. And I had a stone guy made this one. It looks a little bit like I'm going to be buried under it, to be honest. But with the cushions, it's going to look better, I hope, because the marble is very beautiful. But I have to say, it's a bit massive so far, and it's a bit too high. Then I'm wondering, I was thinking maybe we need to put it higher and make like a table, but then the foot parts wouldn't look nice. Or we need to make it lower, but this is pretty impossible. Then I think I'm just going to let it like this. I'm very tall, but still when I'm sitting, I'm not really touching the floor. Then the people who are going to be there is going to be more like a throne, I think. Then they're going to feel superior with the others, but with cushions and all, I hope it's going to look good. And anyway, it's done now, and this is part of the little details that are not always perfect in the house and give some charm, I guess. Then this one is almost done. The plants are going to arrive soon. The other one is already finished, but not on the furnitures and all. In the next video is going to be about how I organize the interiors and I decorate it and what types of choices I did. Maybe not all good, but well, it's choices.